Consider for a moment the type of person that would steal a flask from a friend. What do they look like? Who do they hang out with? What kind of facial hair would they have? What would their job be? Is this who you're imagining? Probably not. How about him? Or her? It doesn't seem quite right. Or are you picturing someone like this? You're not alone. So here's what we know. After the state of the crew last year, we all went to Shay's house for the after party. But by the end of the night, Shay's flask was missing. Everyone immediately suspected it was this man, David Tate. Street name, the Juggling Joker. Not only had he just been busted for pooping in the tub at Thanksgiving,
I won an award called I Pooped in the Tub.
But he also had a history with flask-related shenanigans.
Well, David was pretty pissed at Shay, because Shay stole the flask in the D&D campaign, so I think that's why he did it.
Well, how do you know for sure that he did it?
And at the after party, when we were all dancing to the Northern Boys, I saw David sneak into the kitchen and steal the flask.
I think it's pretty open and
They're
shut.
leakies.
You know, and all I ask is that David apologize, commit to change, and return the flask. You know, I've come to peace with the fact that I don't have kids. I'm never going to have kids, but I had that flask. Okay, that was mine.
But there is no way of knowing for sure. There's no hard evidence of David stealing the flask. In fact, there's no hard evidence at all, except for the note. Shay Stone keeps his flasks in this kitchen drawer, but someone at the after party snuck into the kitchen and replaced one of his flasks with this taunting letter. Unfortunately for David, everyone in the crew knows about his flask obsession and his grudge against Shay over a stolen flask. Shay stole David's fictional flask in the game. So the leading theory for the real-life missing flask? David wanted revenge. They're saying David did it. Do you think he did?
If it's anything like last year, absolutely.
I honestly think that if people are saying it, like, it's probably not true. But the fact that they're saying it about David means it's definitely true.
Whenever David comes to my house, I feel like I have to put some stuff away. I just don't really trust him, you know?
Think he might steal something?
Yeah, or like do something weird.
I did not poop in the tub. I did not poop in the tub.
I think David did it for sure. Yeah.
Pissed at David. He fucking did a stash. I did it first. He's just a copycat one. But I love him. He's conniving and cunning. He did it.
Man, I wish Dave would stop calling me. I'm so sick of it. I don't want to talk to that guy. I don't talk to people who go around and steal a flask from a friend. It's unforgivable. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm not taking this call. I'm done.
You're pretty sure David did it, right?
Oh, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm absolutely sure.
David took the flask. He took my flask, okay? You ever notice how handsome he is?
Yeah.
He does that on purpose.
That's like a distraction?
He does that to distract from his little, like, thieving little ways.
I'm pretty sure David stole the flask.
You know, hypothetically, if people were spreading rumors about you, I wouldn't spread them. But, like, I want to let you know, like, it's not a hypothetical. People are spreading rumors about you, but, like, I hate to see that, like, in the group.
Can you spread the rumor to me?
Well, I'm not spreading it, you know, it's not.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
He has until Thanksgiving to return my flask, or else his ass is grass.
Why are you wearing sunglasses?
Right when I got here, I had heard these rumors about David, the flask. So I just wanted to know, and I approached him, and I think this speaks for itself.
Yeah. Fuck David. Heck David. The case seemed open and shut. Everyone knew David did it, but he still wouldn't return the flask. But a few months later, something crazy happened that completely changed the way I saw the case. Let's go get some beer. I love beer. Beverages. Yeah. What the hell is that? Why does it have like letters cut out of it? Kevin, what have you been doing? Is this you? Here, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this. This cracks the case wide open. I'll see you guys later. I just found this in Kevin's car. The taunting note that was discovered at the scene of the crime was created by cutting letters out of a magazine. To prove this was the magazine I was looking for, I unfortunately had to cross-reference the missing letters from the magazine with the letters from the note. But this was really hard to do because the letters I needed from the magazine were missing.
O-O-K-I-T-K-O-O-I. I took.
So Kevin, are you saying this is yours or isn't yours?
Okay, this is...
Kevin, have you seen this photo before? Are you... Kevin, no. Look at me. Look at me.
It seemed impossible. I needed an expert. I called in a favor from my buddy Rick, who works in forensics.
I've got something you might want to see.
Okay.
Flask, yeah, well, that's nice.
I want that.
Maybe I should get a flask.
Give me the flask.
Hello? Yeah, give me that!
I won't forget this.
Sorry, how does this help?
Oh, it doesn't. I just like it.
But what about the magazine? Who do you think cut the letters out?
Someone who owns scissors?
I'm gonna write that down. Over the next few months, I broke into each of my friends' houses to see if they owned scissors. This may sound extreme, but I knew the only way to keep everyone safe was to invade their privacy. But unfortunately for me, they all owned scissors.
Hey, bud, what are you doing?
Whoa, do you own scissors?
Yeah.
At this point, I narrowed it down to two suspects. Either it was Kevin because the incriminating magazine was found in his car, or it was someone who planted the magazine in his car to frame him. Would David do that to take the heat off himself? If David was the prime suspect, nobody else would have the motive to shift the blame onto Kevin, besides David.
I own a cast iron skillet. I do own a cast iron griddle.
If given the opportunity to trade his daughter for a pan, he would.
I've never seen this before, dude. I hate to throw David under the bus. We carpooled to disc golf today, and I drove and he was in the passenger seat.
Huh. I knew whoever owned the magazine was the one who stole the flask, but it was impossible to tell who was lying. Speaking of liars, after asking around, I found out my star witness was not as credible as I thought.
I want this on record saying that Pat's a punk bitch.
Kevin, don't you think Pat is kind of a liar?
No.
Has he been intimidating you? What is this?
No.
Luckily, I had studied Morse code in the Boy Scouts. Kevin's blinking was clearly a cry for help.
Yeah, he's a pathological liar.
Who?
Pat.
So I confronted Pat to see what he really knew. This time, I needed real answers.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I did make up that detail about catching David sneaking into the kitchen and stealing it. But we all know he did it. I think I wanted to be the one to catch him, and so I said that I saw him do it.
Now my only witness was a pathological liar. Could David actually be innocent? As soon as I began to pull the string, everything began to unravel.
Well, it's a little hard for me to talk about this because, I don't know, it's just kind of uncomfortable, especially with the group. But, I've been, having my own personal journey back, getting closer with God. And, I spent a lot of time thinking and praying. And I forgive Shay for what he did to me in the D&D campaign, stealing the flask that I worked so hard to get. The accusations that I would steal his flask are pretty crazy because, part of my journey of getting closer with God is, joining Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm 10 months sober. Being around a flask would just be, it would just remind me of a David that I don't want to be anymore.
So not only was David not out for revenge, but my lead suspect was the only person in the crew actively avoiding flasks. With every new piece of evidence, David was looking less and less guilty. Things were not looking good for Kevin. But just then, my buddy Rick called me back downtown. He said he had something I might want to see.
I've got something you might want to see.
Okay.
I think I've cracked the case wide open here. So, With this new complex algorithm, I've been able to input all the data we have from the night the flask was stolen. And I think it speaks for itself. As you can see, David was in the tub, so there's no way he could have stolen the flask.
Does the simulation say who did steal the flask?
Well, I ran it 1,000 times, and out of the 997 times the flask was stolen, it was Kevin.
Huh. What about the other 3 times?
Oh, the other 3 times. I forgot to turn the horny levels down, so every time it turned into a gay orgy. Trust me, you do not want to see what Pat and Dakota get up to when they are alone in a room together.
It all made sense. Kevin got caught red-handed with a smoking gun, and we all just believed him when he said David planted it in his car to frame him. Before long, word had gotten out. The tide had turned. Everyone knew Kevin was guilty.
I hate to throw David under the bus.
Once it became clear Kevin stole the flask, I threw David a party to celebrate his newfound innocence. All my friends showed up. Oh, and Shay's girlfriend showed up too. You knew Kevin did it all along? Yeah, he's just got like a guilty face, you know. Some people are saying Kevin shouldn't even be here based on what happened. Do you agree?
I totally agree. Kevin's face should never be here. Ever. In any circumstance.
You know, I just really hate Kevin.
Yeah, especially after what he did. Hey, Kevin's here! Oh!
Damn it! I demand he's kicked out.
So who do you think did it?
Kevin.
I mean, it's not like a huge surprise, just given Kevin's overall demeanor.
Right.
I'm vindicated. I am helpless. I am wrong. I am right. Should I put a pizza in the burger or?
I think you already know the answer. Proud of you, David.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dakota, what do you think of David now that he's been proven innocent?
What?
He can be around my kids again.
But I knew something was missing. If this case was a puzzle, then there was like clearly a puzzle piece that didn't fit in, one that was missing. I mean, surely this case couldn't be this simple. So I pulled the security footage from Kevin and David's annual trip to 7-Eleven for evidence. Just gathering people's opinions on cast iron pans.
Bad.
Kevin, you don't like them?
They're heavy.
Okay.
They're not practical. They're hard to clean.
They're hard to season,
kind
and it
of
doesn't
like,
really work.
I get that. I know they're not. You just
Seasoning
have to
is a myth.
blah, blah, blah,
So you have a lot of experience with cast iron pans.
Seasoning is a myth.
Seems like you know a lot about this.
I mean, I've used them.
David had just admitted to being a fan of cast iron pans. Was the answer so simple? Was it really just David all along? Would David really steal a flask from one of his friends, even while he was trying to be sober? Would he frame another one of his friends by leaving a magazine in his car?
I hate to throw David under the bus.
Go ahead, though.
Please.
We carpooled to disc golf today, and I drove and he was in the passenger seat.
Huh.
Which
So you think he might have left
I
that?
don't know anything about this.
Was it David or was it Kevin? It was her word against his. Was David lying about being sober, or was Kevin lying about his love for cast iron pans? Level with me, guys.
I'm just confused by the
Who did it? Which one of you two did it?
Wait, what?
Who stole the flask? We know one of you two stole the flask. Who did it?
I'm sorry.
Seems like you guys are pointing a lot of fingers.
Listen, I know one fact, and that fact is that Shay stole the flask.
I'm just gonna level with you guys. We've narrowed it down to you two, and I know there's been some framing going on. There's been some weird coincidences. I just want to know which of you two stole the flask.
It doesn't sound like something that Kevin would do, but I had the flask stolen from me, so it couldn't have been me.
Okay. Kevin?
It was Kyle.
It was Kyle. Okay, well that's sus. I will review the evidence, and we'll see. We'll see who done it.
At the end of the day, doesn't matter who stole the flask. I pooped in both their tubs.
Consider for a moment the type of friend who would poop in two of his friends' tubs. What do they look like? Who do they hang out with? What kind of facial hair do they have? What would their job be? Is this who you're imagining? Probably not. How about him? Or her? It doesn't seem quite right. Or are you picturing someone like this? You're not alone.